Welcome. It's A Course in Miracles, letting go, it's released to results. What is your function? We've been going over that the last few days. Well, to bring peace to every mind through your forgiveness. You are the light of the world. And today, let's not forget our function. Let me not forget my function. So, the purpose of the world you see is to obscure your function of forgiveness and provide you with a justification for forgetting it. It is the temptation to abandon God and his son by taking on a physical appearance, and it is this the body's eyes look upon. So nothing the body's eyes seem it can be anything but a form of temptation, since this was the purpose of the body itself. So without making right or wrong of the body or the ego or whatever's coming up, what we're looking at here is you just have an opportunity to fulfill your function of forgiveness and bring peace to every mind, to light the world in your forgiveness. And so these things come up in the physical that provide this great temptation to do anything but forgive. And this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to remember your function and to choose forgiving and being happy or holding on to misery and suffering. That's what letting go is. You bring up anything negative, let it go, and experience that there's happiness where before it was obscured by the illusion of this energy and its projections into the world. So today, let me not forget my function. And let us go into some letting go on this. Lesson 64. Let me not forget my function. Let me not forget my function. Let me not forget my function. And without further judgment or attack on anything that comes up for you, could you notice where you found in the world some temptation not to forgive it? Somebody said something about you, somebody did something to you, there's something to be afraid of or angry at. It may really seem that way. There's that temptation in the world. And could you notice how it feels when focusing upon that, choosing suffering and misery rather than forgiveness? And without making good or bad of that, could you just notice how it feels to be playing some other function than forgiving behind any thought, anything that seems to happen in the world? Just notice that feeling. Could be rage, could be anger, could be fear, could be pride, could be anything. Not necessary to label it. It's simply a feeling other than forgiveness. Could you let that feeling up? Could you open up and just letting any thoughts drift by, letting yourself be with and aware of this energy? And could you release the energy that is not your function? Would you release this energy if you could. When could you release this energy and perhaps find yourself in forgiveness again, fulfilling your function? Let me not forget my function. So there are things that will happen today. You'll have choices. There are things that happened before you'll have choices. You had choices. And there's the choice to forgive and fulfill your function. And there's the choice to buy into temptation and do something else. And it can seem quite appealing to do something else other than forgive. And that's okay. Without further condemning, further unforgiveness of yourself or others, could you just notice something where you've been tempted to do other than forgive? Blame yourself or someone else, be angry, be afraid, subscribe to those feelings and those functions. And taking anything that comes up for you, anything at all, could you allow this energy to come up and let the thoughts scroll by without following them? Could you notice this energy that would have you be doing something other than forgiving, worrying, being frustrated or angry? Whatever the energy is, it's not necessary to label it. It just feels like other than forgiveness. And could you feel that feeling? What does it feel like to be tempted to do something other than forgive? And could you let that energy come up? Can't harm you. Just a feeling. Just a feeling. Could you let it be just a feeling and feel it letting the thoughts drift by? And could you let go of this feeling, let go of this temptation? Yes or no is fine. Just a decision to be happy or just further suffer. When could you let go of this energy and return to your function, your true function, forgiveness and happiness? And just noticing this energy shifting, lightening if it is. Maybe it's gone. It's okay wherever you're at. And lesson 64, let me not forget my function. It's another way of saying, let me not wander into temptation. Let me not forget my function. And by taking on this physical appearance, looking upon these things that happen in the physical, there can be temptation to do something other than forgive what you're witnessing, what you've seen in yourself or others. And so, just for the purpose of returning to your function, could you allow up and acknowledge anything that you've been tempted to do otherwise. This feelings of guilt, fear, sadness, anger. These are temptations. And it's okay. We all go through these temptations in the physical. So without making good or bad of it, right or wrong of it, could you acknowledge and allow this feeling to come up that's just been held on to in your innocence? Could you allow yourself to start to surrender this energy just by feeling it, noticing it? Could you let this feeling flow and just ignore the thoughts on that frequency? And could you surrender, give up this energy, this temptation, and forgive? It might happen, it might not. It takes what it takes. Would you let go, surrender, give up this energy of unforgiveness? It's just a choice. Maybe you let go of a little, maybe you don't. Maybe you let go of a lot, maybe you hold on. When could you just surrender and let anything, any illusion begin to dissipate? Nothing you have to do. You're free. And if you're free, then you can choose your function. Let me not forget my function, the function that would bring me happiness. I can choose unhappiness. I can choose that too. And every decision I make is merely one decision: fulfill my function and be happy, or not fulfill it and be unhappy. Could it be so simple? So let me not forget my function of bringing peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Could you notice anywhere where you've been choosing a different job? Being afraid of something, being angry about something, feeling guilty about something. It's okay. We've all been tempted. And without beating up on yourself or making right or wrong of whatever's coming up for you, you simply acknowledge and welcome the feeling of this temptation to do some other work. Could you sit with this energy that's been stuck or hanging out in the field and just let it up? Let it be felt. Welcome whatever's there. And could you release that energy? Release that temptation to do something other than forgive? Would you release that energy If you could, when could you release? And remember your function. Let me remember my function to bring peace to every mind through my forgiveness, to light the world. Let me not forget my function to make choices which lead to happiness. Let me remember my function. I am the light of the world. And there may be some place, some person, some situation where there's a great resistance or refusal to fulfill your function, to do that which will make you happy. Can you simply notice a situation where it seems there's some resistance to forgiving, some refusal, some denial of forgiveness? Having the courage just to be honest and look at what's been carried. And could you allow any resistance or refusal, whatever that feels like, to be there and feel that and notice that? Could you feel it more, notice it more? How much of this has been carried? How much resistance or refusal to forgive? And by allowing it to run, it will run out. Could you let it run for just another moment? This energy, ignoring the thoughts, letting the feeling run. And could you let go of resisting your function? Would you let go of refusing forgiveness? This energy. When could you let go? It's just the way to escape from all illusions and thus from all temptations. Just letting go and forgiving. Though there could seem to be some resistance to that, some refusal of your function. And you know what? That's okay. Ignoring it, pretending it's not there, just keeps it stuck. Could you allow up some energy, some situation where you haven't been forgiving, where you've been refusing or resisting forgiving someone or something? And could you open up and see what this energy is you've been carrying behind the refusal or resistance of your function of forgiveness? Could you let that resistance come up? Allow that energy to unstick just by feeling it. You might even really resist, really refuse, whatever that feels like. It's not thoughts, it's a feeling. Forgiving. And could you just allow this energy for now? Allowing that resistance to forgiveness, that refusal of forgiveness, whatever it is, to come up And could you surrender? Give up resisting or refusing your function. Would you surrender this energy, this feeling, this resistance to forgiveness? When could you surrender temptation? You never have to. It's just a choice. It's a decision to be happy or unhappy, to fulfill your function of forgiveness, lighting the world, bringing peace to every mind, or a decision to abandon what you really are. And to take it easy on yourself when there's things that come up that you've subscribed to in your innocence that have you tempted to do something other than forgive, could you take it easy on yourself? Could you even forgive yourself for having bought into some kind of temptation, believed in something other than forgiveness as your salvation? It's okay. Anyone who's here has gone through some of that. Could you simply allow it up? Let that energy move and release. Experience the results, your happiness. It's always been there waiting, not even waiting, just obscured by the focus on the physical world and appearances of things and holding grudges. You are free. You can choose to allow up anything other than your function and release it. Today, let me not forget my function. Today, let me not forget forgiveness. Today, let me remember my function. Today, let me remember forgiveness. Thank you today for remembering your function, fulfilling your function in the world. Thanks for being here. We'll do it again tomorrow. Have the best day you can, lights.